Congratulations to all of you. You have crossed the bridge, not just into Copenhagen, but into a new world. I believe we are standing on the brink of a new extraordinary opportunity. Not just this conference, but moving forward, you as HR, talent mobility leaders, have the chance to assume and take that strategic seat at the top of the leadership table. Now, I say that not just because I'm considered a futurist from Silicon Valley, but because the world has fundamentally changed. Over the past 5 years, technology has accelerated, as has climate change, as has geopolitics. There is no more business as usual. When I look back to 5.5 years ago, I really sometimes shake my head and say, what were we thinking? Because then, at the beginning of 2020, work was defined as a place where people went. You go to work, to sit in a box, in an office, or cubicle. Remember cubicles? Ooh, whoever had that great idea? Or an open workspace where you did tasks. Oftentimes, individual tasks on your PC. And then after a 8 to 10 hour shift in that box, we all commuted back home by car or train or bus for 30 minutes to 2 hours. And on the weekends, we got together with friends and we talked about work-life balance. We work, and then we go have a life. And suddenly, in March of 2020, everything stopped. One of the advantages, I believe, of COVID was it forced us all as people to take a step back and to explore new ways of working. And for many people, we found that we could be as productive, or maybe even more so, at home, at the cabin by the lake, at a friend's house. Work no longer had to be defined by a place. That was a wake-up call for people and for organizations. And as we worked by the lake, we as people started thinking about, what am I really doing with my life? What is my purpose? Why do I want to spend so much time going back and forth to a box? Hence, it's not surprising at all that when some traditional business leaders dictated return to the office, people said, no, we're not so interested in returning to an office because we're perfectly fine working and having a life wherever we are. And the younger people, 35 and below, recognized, I'm not going to do what my parents did, of sacrifice my health and my well-being to go and sit in a box and do tasks. So I believe the future of work is all about people doing what people do best from wherever they are, and aligning their own purpose with that of the things they do in their job or project or engagement. Now, I'm curious what you believe the future of work is. This is a chance to reopen that app, and you should get a message or a notification and allow you to add a word or two of what you believe the future of work could be. And there should be words coming up here. There we go. Flexibility, excellent. Agility, hybrid, agile, human-centric, harmony, I love it. Flexibility again, perfect. Work from anywhere, excellent. We've got the right people in the right conference. This is a good thing. This is a very good thing. Excellent. These are the reasons that I believe you, talent mobility leaders, deserve the head spots in the boardroom. You are the people that are going to drive this future of work and be the heroes in your organization. You are the people that have the keys to the most valued resource in a company. This was from a study that was done by Korn Ferry at the beginning of 2025, where they looked at corporate assets and measured and benchmarked everything from capital investment to real estate, property, technology, spend by companies. And Korn Ferry found that the most valuable asset in companies was people, human capital that they valued globally. The value of human capital at 1.2 quadrillion US dollars. Even more interestingly, they looked at return on investment and noted that the return on investing in human talent leads to about 1,200% return. For every dollar, euro, kroner invested in people, you have the opportunity to gain back approximately 12 for every one. Huge opportunity. And yet, I struggle sometimes when I hear other reports, like from Gallup, that says employee engagement is at an all-time low. In fact, the latest study a few months ago showed that in Europe, only 13% of employees are engaged. And when I say engaged, I mean they're excited about their work and their projects and their objectives. They get up burning to get into what they're assigned to accomplish. They love working with their team members and their managers. That's true engagement. My theory on why this mismatch is that many financial business leaders are investing in development programs for people based upon the old business as usual. Let's run more online courses. Let's send people off to seminars. Let's do a wellness retreat. Those are all good ideas. But for you, as talent mobility strategic HR leaders, I would suggest this is the time to take that seat and stand up to redesign completely work practices and the concept of work to achieve that vision of flexibility, hybrid, agile. That's what will engage people. And it starts, as you noted, with investing in flexibility. PwC has achieved significantly improved retention and engagement rates through what they call WWE, work wherever you're effective. That could be at the cottage, that could be in the office in a collaboration space, it could be in a cafe. Open up for people to do what is best for them. And an important element in this new workplace is for individuals to understand their personal purpose, what they want to achieve in life, and for leaders to understand for each of their individual employees that employee's goal and purpose. Because when you align an individual's purpose and passion with the company's purpose and passion, and you match the jobs together so that what a person is assigned to do in their job fulfills their purpose while achieving the company's goals, that's a win-win. And that's where the development funds and the investments that you make can give that great 1,200% return on investment by designing individualized development plans, one-to-one with people, based upon the individual's purpose, their skill set, their capabilities. That's human-centric leadership, built for the person, by the person, with the person. That's the future of work. No longer having people that sit doing something for a set number of hours with somebody looking over their shoulder. That no longer is feasible. It's about bringing people together to collaboratively work towards a common goal while fulfilling their individual purposes, supported and trusted and empowered by a leadership team that respects each person for who they are. So bringing people together, celebrating individualism collectively towards a common goal. That's engagement. And today, you, as leaders, and the people in your organization have the opportunity to tap into a superpower called AI. Now, I'm sure when I say AI, there are a few people in the room that kind of pull back thinking, oh my God, because there might be a perception by a few that AI is a big bad wolf coming to get you, coming to take jobs. It's not. AI technology is simply a tool developed by people over the course of the last decades for a specific set of purposes. I like to compare AI to a kitchen knife, which is also a tool that is designed for a purpose and comes in really handy when you need to cut vegetables or to make a 5-course fabulous meal. Very important to have good kitchen knives. Now, as I personally have learned a few times the hard way, A kitchen knife, especially a sharp one, needs attention when you're using it. Otherwise, you might cut part of your finger off. You need to be mindful. You need to select the right knife for the right thing. It's the same with AI. You need to be mindful. You don't just turn it on and let it do something for you. You work with it and you adapt with it. Now, AI, just like a kitchen knife, when put in the hands of somebody with negative intent, can create problems. So we have to be strategic. You don't give the kitchen knife to the one that wants to kill your brother. Not a good idea. Same with AI. So as people leaders, we each have a responsibility to understand this thing called AI and understand where and how we can most strategically utilize it and other technology. AI, robotics, is very good at doing things that are detailed. That could be going through thousands of lines of a pivot table to calculate an analysis and predict the future. It could be watching through reports of data and quality management to find the one flaw. AI does not have ADHD. AI does not need to go to the toilet. So it's really good at producing things 24/7. It's good at accomplishing rote, repetitive tasks that people get distracted and bored and make mistakes in doing. So if we use AI, robotics, for those kinds of things, what does that mean for people? It means we are freed to do what we as humans do best, which is being creative, thinking out of the box, asking what if. Let's try this. Let's put this with this and see what comes out. Let's look at the data and analyze from a human intuition point of view how this might apply in this new initiative we're building. Let's use our empathy to understand how we might help this person based upon the history that they've been struggling in this particular way. That's the human skills that AI does not replace today, and in my opinion, in the foreseeable future. And the more we use technology, the more important those human skills are. Example from one of my clients, a company called Van Amida that's based in the Netherlands, and they are an insurance claim processing organization. And back about 3 years ago, they had a huge challenge because they had about 150 people in customer service in their main office. And these people received claims. And those claims, we all have had insurance claims that we've submitted. Those claims are somebody writes a letter saying, I have insurance on my car. I had an accident. Here's pictures before the accident. Here's pictures after the accident. Here's the quotes. When am I going to get blah, blah, blah? These people, oftentimes people between 25 and 40 years of age in customer service, spent 8 hours a day on the screen going through these claims and looking into databases, et cetera, et cetera. 45 minutes per claim on average to process. Any guesses what the average tenure for that role was? How long people stayed in that role? It was about 5 to 8 months was the average. It wasn't working. So the COO and the CHRO came and said, there's got to be a better way. So we found an AI tool that was trained specifically to analyze and process claims and could do this in 3 minutes. Instead of a person, 45 minutes, 3 minutes, and they could fully process about 90% of the claims and get it back to the customer. Made the customers a lot happier. But what about these 150 people? I congratulate Vanamida because they recognized that these people were valuable to the organization. And so the managers, the team supervisors, met with each and every one of the people and discussed that person's life purpose and goals, what they most enjoy doing, the kinds of experiences they wanted to have in order to improve their career. And they reassigned 130 of them. 20 stayed as supervising the AI and the technology. The other 130 moved into new roles. The ones that liked working with people, that wanted to go into sales, customer success, were moved into account management, where they could go out and work with and meet with customers. Those that wanted to innovatively change the insurance business were moved into innovation, strategic development. Those that loved details in finance were moved into the finance and accounting team. After 3 years, their turnover rate is now about 2% compared to 80% before. The average length of time somebody has stayed at Vanamida is in the 2.5 to 3 years since that happened. A win-win for the company because they're getting more revenue, better customer service, and happier employees without spending money churning through people. So technology and people together can create a real win-win. One of the studies back at the beginning of the year from the World Economic Forum noted that in the next 2 years, by the end of 2026, about 50% of jobs, as we've defined them, would be significantly impacted in some way by AI and technology. Is that good news or bad news, do you think? The good part is that of those jobs, many of them had elements, such as Vanamida, of things people really don't enjoy doing and are not well suited for. The real good news is 170 million new jobs are anticipated to be created and needed in this same period. So to me, that says an opportunity for people to move away from the old, what they probably didn't want to do to begin with and are not real suited for, into the new. And so the skills that people need to think about and develop certainly do include technology skills. About 20% of those 170 new jobs are technology related. 20%. That means 80% of the new jobs require improved new uses of human skills. Customer service, real customer service, not processing stuff. Let technology do that. Understanding needs. helping people transition through this period of change that we're in, helping people gain greater wellness and health, and reskilling, upskilling, shifting mindsets. Schneider Electric, very traditional company, has utilized AI over the last 2 years to predict the trends in their electrical product markets. And based upon those trends, they've analyzed what are the skills that our people are going to need in another 5 to 10 years when our market is very different. They then took that data along with one-to-ones that leaders had with their individuals to understand where people wanted to go, an AI analysis of skill reports and capabilities, and married all that together to proactively define the areas of gaps that they will have in 5 to 10 years, and then the opportunities where they can marry the people they have based upon where the people want to go to meet those gaps. Proactive upskilling long before change happened in their industry. So thinking forward about people and leadership skills in a world that's changing rapidly, human-centric leaders that build trust, build a culture of agility, as you noted, a hybrid culture where flexibility is important, that's more critical than ever before. We need more of those leaders. And all of us, as people, must develop our own technical literacy. Yes, we need to understand how to use the tools and how to prompt, but we also need to enhance our abilities to think critically. Remember, AI is like a sharp kitchen knife. You've got to think carefully while you're using it. You've got to assess and analyze what it brings to you. So people are critical as we move forward in this new world on which we're at the beginning of the brink, because AI is only the first of what is going to be an increasing plethora of new technologies that will give us extreme superpowers, from autonomy that will make things more autonomous and easy for us, quantum computing, 100,000 times faster devices that are expected in 5 to 10 years will take us into a whole different environment altogether. Digital twins being used today to allow for maintenance of equipment and to deal with emergencies subsea, in mines, in dangerous places that people no longer have to go physically because they can deal with issues from wherever they happen to be technology-wise. Blockchain, cryptocurrency that will give a lot more flexibility in how mobility is managed. Web3, virtual reality, to allow people to experience what would it be like to be on a 6-month assignment in Dubai? How would I adapt to it being 45°C every day for 3 months? You can experience things from your own safe environment with technology. Things like robotics, as well as recognition that will free people from passwords and devices to being able to flow freely in this future of work, flexible, agile, integrating work and life to achieve your personal purpose. People will remain number one. And that has not changed in the last 5, 10, 30 years. The importance of people has always been there. It's just getting stronger. I was thinking the other day back to, it's about 10 years ago now. I was engaged by a retail organization in Europe to figure out what they could do about the dilemma of their cashiers not wanting to sit all day and scan groceries. That's not so exciting for an 18-year-old, I can assure you. And somebody in finance had had the brilliant idea, we'll solve that problem. We'll just get rid of them, and we'll install self-checkout. All good. They did that, but people didn't use the self-checkout. They still found the one smiling cashier, even though there was a long queue, and they queued to pay for their groceries. So I went to those people in the queue and said, why are you doing this? There's self-checkout over there. And the number one answer that came back was, even though it takes a bit longer, I like the humanness. I like to talk to a person. I like to ask, how was your date that you had last weekend that you were telling me about? I like that connection. So I said, I've got an idea here. So I went back to the manager and I said, what about if we talk to your cashiers that you've invested in training? We talk to them and we understand, what do they really want to do? If they don't want to scan, what's their passion? And we found a lot of them said, I took this job in the grocery instead of at McDonald's because I'm interested in food. I love cooking. I love nutrition. I want to find new ways of using food to make life better. Let's give them an opportunity to develop their skills to be nutrition consultants. And placed one in poultry, one in produce, one in fishing. And they could talk to the customers about the menus, the recipes, the ingredients, how the dinner was last weekend for the family. Within 6 months, the revenue went up 150%. Customer loyalty went up by thousands of percentages. People looked forward to going to the grocery. And employee engagement was over the roof because people were doing what they were passionate about and enjoying their days at work. As a global society, we have come through a lot of challenges in the last 10 years. But now we're on the other side. You've crossed the bridge and are at the brink of making a huge difference for yourself and your company. Powered, in my opinion, by AI. But I'm curious of your opinion. So reopen your app and put in your vote. Is AI good or bad? Great. Depending upon the use with your brain. A few unsure, a few avoiding. A few more. And I completely agree on depending upon use to be used strategically, intelligently, and in small doses, where people have noted that they invested in AI and it didn't work. I think there's probably 2 mistakes that they made. One is going into it excited about a tool. We're doubling down on Microsoft Copilot and we're going to force everybody to use it for everything. That doesn't work so good. whether that's Copilot or Anthropic or any other tool. The way to move forward with AI as your true superpower is to start with the people. Start with bringing small groups of people together to think about a business challenge, whether it's how do we retain people, whether it's how do we analyze data, how do we know which skills are going to be needed in the future. Define a small project and a business problem. Then go out and look for the right tool to solve that problem. And start small with very clear objectives. How are you going to measure whether the tool is achieving the results that you're trying to get to? Define that up front. And the best way to get started is to try it. Once you've identified the tool, you've set the goals, the measurement, try it for a couple of weeks. And then come back together to assess how did that work. Start with the purpose, the business problem, and the people. Apply the tool, and then assess. That's the best way to gain true return on investment and begin to develop that agile, leaning in, flexible culture of people supported by AI and technology. The framework that I use when working with companies around AI or change provides an opportunity for you as a leader of HR to redesign your workplace and the concept of work with peace. Because it starts with purpose. Identify your own purpose. What do you really want to achieve in life overall and in your company? Understand for each of the individuals in your personal organization, in the talent mobility group, what do each of those folks want to achieve? And help leaders within the company begin to refine purpose. Because if you know what you're trying to do, you can then explore how AI, other people, skill development can help you to best achieve the purpose. Gives you a goal. Explore how to get there. And the world is changing quickly. Now is the time to take action, to just try it, small doses, aligned with your purpose. No one person, including me, has all the right answers. We're in a new environment, and we're defining this together. Co-creation, which means you have to collaborate with each other here in the next 2 days. Collaborate with people on your teams and across the organization, the other leaders at that boardroom table with you when you get back. And identify ways that you can truly empower people to be who they are, working flexibly to achieve their purpose using the right tools. That's the true workplace, work practice, and vision for the future of work. People, wherever they're most effective, working together, sharing, powered by AI. That's a true win-win. So as you get back, think through your purpose. Think through your plan for exploring. Act. Try. It's the best way to set the stage for others. Collaborate and empower all with trust. Over the next day and a half, you'll have many opportunities to discuss amongst yourselves with each other, your purpose. Align on that. Explore. And share. There's a great group of future-ready leaders here. Compare notes, share ideas, and reach out to me during the day, at the dinner tonight, tomorrow, with any questions. I really look forward to working with you. So thank you for being very patient and very attentive, and I look forward to the rest of the conference together.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for your great inspiration and presentation. So I'm sure that everyone will be talking throughout the 2 days, and you are staying with us over the 2 days, so I'm sure you get the opportunity to discuss with Jennifer. We open now for the Q&A session, so feel free to submit your question through the app, or you can also raise your hands, and we will bring you a microphone. So while we are waiting for some questions, I have one for you.
Yes.
So how can we encourage experienced employees to use AI and new tools?
So I think there's 3 things that I would suggest you can do. One is the best way to help others is to demonstrate. You as a leader should leverage the tools effectively and appropriately. Number 2, with your colleagues around the boardroom table, ensure that there are AI guidelines and frameworks so people know what's safe to use. And number 3, form little learning labs, opportunities for 2 to 10 people that can sit around a table to come together and explore together.
Excellent. Another question, how can we attract and retain Gen Z who seems to have different needs than other employees?
Gen Z, I believe, is a great opportunity for all organizations because they are native, out-of-the-box thinkers. They need and they demand flexibility. 70% of Gen Zers will not even talk to a company unless they have 100% flexibility. So offer that. Look at them as individuals. Talk to them about their purpose and align their purpose with the kinds of work that they're doing in your organization. And you will be shocked at how much productivity you gain.
Excellent. I have a question coming in. So there are definite positives talking about AI, but what threat do you think AI present to the world of work?
I believe the biggest threat that comes related to AI is people's ineffective use of AI. Remember, just like a kitchen knife, putting AI in the hands of people that are not aware of the potential danger that it can create, people that turn off their critical thinking when they plug in the AI and let it run rampant, people that may have negative intent, they can use AI in negative ways. So establish within your organization, establish through example, good, proper use of AI. Using the brain 80% more when you're using AI than when you're doing the work, because you've got to critically think about how to use the tool, where to use the tool, and the results. So demonstrate effective AI use to prevent the threats that could happen.
Excellent. And I think we have just one question to take on before the end of this session. So it's on flexibility.
Yes.
So how can we avoid that too much flexibility in world result in losing engagement? Oops. It's flipping around. Losing engagement from employees. So meaning too much flexibility could lead also to losing engagement from employee. Do
Great.
you fear?
Great question. If flexibility is defined as anybody can do anything anytime they want, you're going to have chaos, right? Versus if flexibility is defined as each employee or contractor team member, each person has a clear objective, what it is you're trying to achieve, the results that you're trying to get to. If they have that objective and it aligns with their desires, their values, and their purpose, that team member will stay very much on track to achieve that objective, working with others as need be. So you need to provide a structure around the flexibility. I sometimes equate it to taking your kids to the playground. I never recommend just take a bunch of kids and turn them loose in a field and say, have fun, I'll be back in a few hours. No, it doesn't work so good. Whereas you take them and you say, this area, the 2-year-olds can play for the next 25 minutes and try to climb up that ladder 15 times. Whereas over here, you can do this. So give a structure that allows the flexibility to be safe as well as effective.
This is great. Thank you so much, Jennifer,
Most
for your
welcome.
presentation and answering the question.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.